This is Jackie Weisfield presenting a new role for the Parents Organization, the case study for EDL 856. So first, reporting the information. So a summary of the case study is this. The parent organization at the school wants to take on a more active role in the day-to-day operations of the school, and the principal wants to honor the spirit of the request in order to engage those stakeholders and collaborate with families in the community, but is opposed and reluctant to do so through the outlined proposal, thinking that it oversteps the role of the parent organization. And the principal values the parent organization as an organization that helps to engage parents in supporting their students. And the evidence for that is that he's relying on what has been done in the past and his current expectations of the new group, which would be that they not necessarily follow suit, but that they participate in those same things that they have in the past. Parent input isn't seen as respected or valued by the parents in the school, and the evidence for that is that they are meeting without the principal and creating an outline of the involvement and how to change the events of the past without input from that principal. And then the parents want to know what's going on in school. And that shows that they could suspect a lack of transparency from the principal. And the evidence for that is just the proposal of how they'd be involved, which includes discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, and school evaluation, which are things that even in the research, typically parent organizations are not involved with. So here are some of the players in this particular case study. There's the parent organization who are saying they just want to be involved. The principal who believes they can help the school with parent engagement, and so not saying please don't be involved, but be involved in this way that is going to be most effective for everyone. The secondary players are the teachers union, the school board, the superintendent, the district legal team, the students, pretty much everyone that the parent organization and principal deal with on a regular or daily basis. So here are the legalities and the ethics. The current state, no one has been harmed by an action or a decision. The action in and of itself doesn't contravene an existing law. There hasn't been a breach of contract. There hasn't been discrimination. There hasn't been harassment yet. Based on reading the case study, it sounds like there is definitely the potential for that to happen. Potentially the principal's work reputation is harmed by a rogue parent organization. The teachers union may be getting involved because the teacher's contract is being violated. Teacher, parent, and teacher administrator relationships are going to become strained or non-existent if we continue down this path. Just because the parents are asking the teachers to complete a lot of work outside of their contracted duties. And then board policy is ignored and potentially going to impact accreditation for the school and potentially the district. So the issue is due to a lack of clear and transparent communication between the principal and the parent organization at the school. The parent organization has created a proposal that would give them access to the information they want without regard for the legalities of the proposal or the ethics of the proposal. They also haven't thought about the impact on the school, on the students, on the teachers. They are simply looking at, this is the information that we want to have, and this is how we want to help the school. So what came to be very clear is that we don't know for sure a whole lot of information. Based on the reading of the case study, the students are at the secondary level. That comes from the idea that the parent organization wants the teachers to do presentations about their subjects. They talk about student schedules. If there are student schedules, generally that is a secondary thing. In elementary school, you are primarily with the same teacher most of the day. We know the principal was at that particular school for at least a year, but we also know that he's an experienced principal, given the fact that he has had experience with PTA in the past. We also, again, we know it's a secondary school, or we can infer that it's a secondary school. What we don't know, we know that at least one of the parents is a young professional, so maybe more of them are in that realm. Maybe the teachers are not effective. That is why the parents want to get involved with teacher performance. There's a suspicion that it's a potentially affluent district, given that one of the parents involved is a young attorney. Based on that also, it is probably not a rural area. If you are working in law, you typically need an urban or suburban area to do that. Again, we don't know a ton about the program. You can surmise that it's a traditional program, given that they have, some core subjects, they're presenting schedules, all of those pieces at a traditional kind of back-to-school night. The school might be struggling, which is why the teachers or the parents want to be involved in the school ratings process. It may be an old curriculum that's not meeting the needs of the 21st century. Discipline may be an issue, since those are the core reasons that the parents really want to get involved in the areas the parents really want to get involved with. There's a lot of inference about the program. And so my priorities in looking at this, first of all, the students. The proposal as it's written by the parents, that they want to be able to come in and determine things about the curriculum, that they want to have a hand in the discipline, that they want to worry about or are concerned about teacher performance, the school ratings, all those things can be very disruptive to the learning environment for students. On the plus side of that, students actually get to see more adults concerned about their education and really see that there are checks and balances happening, which has the potential to minimize the number of behavior issues. But then also, on the other side of that, the students could feel a shift in the balance of power and start trying to manipulate the situation where you can't give me this grade because my parents are going to fight back. You're not supported by the administration. Parents come in and do whatever they want. So students, especially at that age, are really savvy to those kinds of relationships. And so that could definitely be a piece of what happens. With teachers, a lot of what they're talking about doing as a parent organization is against the teacher contract. It's invasive to the classroom, and they would be being evaluated and observed by untrained professionals, which again, I would surmise would be against the teacher contract. The principal, the relationships are going to be impacted, relationships with the principal supervisor, relationships with the parents, relationships with the teachers. The school reputation is impacted, and even within that case study, it said that the principal was concerned that essentially, like, anything that happens in that school is the principal's responsibility, and so is concerned about what that looks like. The impact on parents is that it would actually give parents more influence, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does put parents in a difficult situation if they're not familiar with school law, which, based on their choices and their proposal, it doesn't sound like they're really familiar with school law and what can and can't be done. The Board of Education, it definitely is impacted if there's an accreditation risk. They may have to step in with that specific school, and it has the potential to impact all the schools in the district if the parent organization is talking about getting involved with curriculum. Other organizations might be impacted, like the teachers union, who are going to have to be advocating for those teachers, and the district legal team is going to have to be active in the response. of the solution to this problem. So here are the options. The do nothing option. Follow the same path as before. You're going to get the same results. They're going to have unhappy parents and the principal concerned about the nature of the parent organization. If we do the opposite of that, if we accept the parent's proposal as is, you have happy parents in the organization, but disgruntled teachers, privacy issues for students. There's a lot of legal impacts that proposal has. If you collaborate with the parents addressing their concerns, you can educate them on what is and is not possible. So you can also talk about the current trends in education and parental support. Find alternative ways to meet their demands, getting at the root cause of their demands, and create a school organization that gets all the needs met for students, parents, teachers, principal, school board, everyone involved. You can bring in a district mediator to facilitate discussion, which has a more combative appearance since somebody needs to come in and mediate. You can disband the parent organization and don't honor the parent work. It doesn't show that the parents have an added value to the school community, which they definitely do. Another option is to call in the superintendent and board of education to deal with the situation, which then takes the power away from both the principal and the parents of solving this conflict together. So the do nothing option really has more cons than pros. While we preserve teacher relationships and the learning environment isn't disruptive, there's no improvement in principal-parent relationships. Parents feel ignored or devalued, and you give up control to higher authorities when parents escalate those issues. If you're accepting the parent's proposal as is, again, there's more cons than pros. While the parent organization gets what it wants and there's more voices around the table for student achievement, there's still no improvement in the relationship between the principal and the parents. There are potential FERPA violations. There's an erosion of the student or of the principal and teacher relationship and violation of the teacher contract. If you actually create a collaboration with the parent organization, this is the one area where there's more pros than cons. Both sets of voices are heard. The principal protects parents from negative outcomes with teachers or legal issues. The principal protects the teachers, the students. The principal can help educate the parent group, can go to the board with changes already accepted and supported by the parents. The cons is that it can be more time consuming for that principal. It's hard to build up the missing trust at this point, and balancing the support for the parent group on top of other principal duties is also going to be difficult. And this principal would have to change the mindset going in. If you bring in a mediator, again, more cons than pros. It still doesn't fix the relationship. There's still a power dynamic. The parents are still defensive. But again, both voices are heard and the solution is reached. I could not think of any pros to disbanding the parent organization. It's going to anger the parents. It's not collaborative. It doesn't encourage dialogue. There's a loss of support for the school from what they already have. So I can't think of any reason you would want to do that. Or call in the board of education or the superintendent. All the parties lose power. The principal looks like he or she can't handle the job. Looks like a one-sided argument. But it's a strong voice for parents to hear, and the principal doesn't really have to prepare. So my option would be to collaborate with the parent organization, creating a two-way communication with stakeholders, finding a way to honor the strengths of both sides, then all stakeholders win. The students and teachers have a less disrupted learning environment, parents are active and helping the school and principal, and the parents learn more about school dynamics. And the way that we would do that is propose alternatives for students or for parents to get at the issues they feel are most important. You could propose a curriculum night. You can present discipline statistics. You can't necessarily work on teacher performance, but school evaluation has something about parent engagement and parent surveys, and creating a space where we can discuss that would be really important. Having meeting times when parents can see classrooms, providing learning opportunities for parents, inviting teachers and students to be part of the conversations, and then if those pieces don't work, looking at those more divisive measures like bringing in the superintendent, legal team, mediator. Thank you for listening. That's my presentation.